Hi, I'm Mr. Jake Gordon, and I'm going to be showing you how you can use the Little Man Computer simulator I've built, which is online at mathsuniverse.com/LMC, to take two numbers from a user and show the first number minus the second number, so the result of that calculation. So we've got this instruction set, and there are 11 different instructions. We're looking to take input from a user, and we're going to do that with the instruction imp. So let's take a input from a user, and I'm going to process, assemble and run and make that program quicker. And we can see we've got an input box. We're going to put the number 6, and it's taken the input and it's put it in the accumulator, but that's all it's done with it so far. Notice that in the accumulator you've got the least significant bit at the bottom and the most significant bit at the top. So this is worth 1, 2, 4. So we've got a 4 plus a 2, which makes 6. Okay, so we've taken the input from a user, and what we really need to do is we need to store it over into one of these memory cells on the right-hand side. The way we're going to do that is we're going to label a memory cell A, and in there, that is A of type DAT. This is somewhere we can store data. And if we wanted it to start off with a number, we could put that number at the end like this. But in this case, we're going to be putting the input from the user into that memory address. So we're going to take that input from the user, and we really want to write here where we want to store that into memory. So we really want to say put that into A. I'm just going to put a space in front of here to line these up as well. And we're going to see we get an error because input doesn't take an operand or a parameter at the end of it. Instead, it just puts something into this accumulator, and what we want to do is then store it with STA into this memory address labeled A. So let's try assembling and running this program. We're going to put the number 8 in, and we can see it's still stored in the accumulator, but now in the third memory address here we also have the number 8, 0, so that's the number of 1s, 2s, 4s and 8s, so that's number 8. But it's also now asking me for another input, and that's because it's interpreting this line below as though it's an instruction, and we don't want to give it an instruction. So what we're going to do is always write halt before our DAT lines. We'll try running this again. Put the number 5 in this time, and we can see we've got something in the accumulator, something over here, and it's not prompting me for another number. But in this case, I do actually want to have another number. So we're going to take another input from the user, and we could store that into B if we want to. But what I'd quite like to do is go straight to our subtraction. So we're going to subtract the contents of a memory address from the accumulator. So we've got this number stored over here in A, and we're going to subtract that from the accumulator, which currently holds the second input from the user. So we're going to do sub, and we're going to be subtracting memory address A from the accumulator. Let's run that program. So we're going to put in the first number, which is 10, and the second number, which is 6, and oh, hasn't done anything with it. We've got a value in the accumulator which starts with a 1, which tells us it's a negative number because we're using 2's complement, but we haven't actually output that number yet. So before we halt the program, let's output the value in the accumulator. So we're going to put in 10, we're going to put in 6, and we get an answer of -4. So that's we put in 10, we put in 6, we've got -4. So it's not doing 10 minus 6, is it? It's doing 6 minus 10. Maybe we want it the other way around. So maybe we want to take away the second number from the first number instead. So we've stored the first number, we've taken the second number as input, so we're going to have to store that number as well. What we would then do is we would load the first number, and then we would subtract the second number from it. Let's try running this program. Oh, I've got a problem in my code, and it's saying B doesn't exist yet, so I'm going to have to make a DAT line for B to store that into. Otherwise, this label means nothing. And so I'm going to put in 10 and then 6, and this time it is doing A minus B, the first number minus the second, and giving me the answer of 4. Hope you found this useful. Remember, you can use my simulator at mathsuniverse.com/LMC.